Okay, my God team, welcome back to the channel, guys. Thanks for tuning into today's video. We're going to go ahead and take a look at Bitcoin today. And once again, Bitcoin has been moving in the same area. It's basically in the same zone it has been for the last 4 weeks. And this range has been quite a large range in terms of percentage. You know, from the absolute bottom of this range to absolute top, it's been about 12%. So we're seeing quite a large swing within this range. But more or less, we are still within the range. We haven't made a definitive directional decision in terms of where the price will go on the weekly chart. But here's the cool thing. This chart will tell us exactly what's going to happen. And I've been talking about it for weeks, and it's been so precise, in catching short-term swings, in catching nice scalp trades, catching bottoms, catching tops. It's been absolutely perfect. As you can see again, Bitcoin moved up to and rejected from this level. Once again, finding support on that 4-hourly close here, hourly close down over here. It is working out perfectly. But again, for those of you who don't know what's happening over here, Bitcoin has more or less been traveling like ping-ponging between these two red lines. Okay, these two red lines make up the major resistance trigger and major support trigger of the last 4 weeks. Now, when we break through the red line, we generally see an explosive move up to the next major resistance zone. And this major resistance zone here, 20,272 to 20,454, is in fact the major weekly trigger. Meaning if the price can get above this level, that would be the weekly confirmation that we are going to $22,000, potentially even $24,000. Now, vice versa, if we come down, we lose this level, closing a 4 hour below it, that is confirmation we are heading lower. Now, this green line is the weekly trigger that we head lower. So it's like the top one over here, but it's reversed. So a green line down over here, 17,600, is the trigger, the weekly trigger, that we are going to be heading lower. And that is why I say this particular range is absolutely significant when we're looking at predicting, you know, the next move for Bitcoin in terms of the weekly chart. Even the short time frame, the small time frame, this chart has been insanely accurate. I can't believe how accurate this short range has actually been. If you've been watching the channel, you would have seen how accurate this range has been. If you're in the VIP, you'll be taking advantage of it, and it's insane. But anyway, guys, go ahead and like the video. I'd really appreciate the support. Leave a comment. If you are wanting to follow us on Telegram, you can go ahead and access our Telegram channel down below in the first link. You can see it over here. We post a bunch of charts, updates, analysis videos, information, and much more. And if you do want to support the channel, you can go ahead and support me and sign up and trade on Bitget. That is where I trade personally. It's probably the best exchange, but you'll find out more about that at the end of the video. Link in the description. So we've talked about the short term now. Let's go ahead and talk about potential price directions. So I want to go ahead and remove all of this stuff and bring back to the original chart. And if we go ahead and overlay some structural levels on this chart, we'll get more of a clear picture of how the price is moving between structures and zones. So the zones kind of tell us how the price will move. And by zones, I mean these horizontal supports and resistances, because horizontal supports and resistances are areas of which the price will kind of fluctuate between or through, or they generally move between and through, okay? And you got these diagonal trend lines that form our structure. So for the most part, these are diagonal. We obviously do have horizontal channels, but for the most part, structures are made up of diagonal trend lines. And these tell us key points of confluence where the price is breaking, you know, major areas of resistance or support. And in this instance, we do have, or in general, they define trend. So that's just an easy way to think about it. It's diagonal levels define the trend. So in this instance, we have a downward sloping, major downward sloping resistance over here. And obviously this is a larger time frame downward diagonal resistance, and therefore it is a more significant downward sloping resistance than this smaller time frame pattern. The smaller time frame 4-week pattern now is a rising channel. And we've told you guys about this many times. We said we do expect a breakdown of the rising channel eventually. And we did see the breakdown of the rising channel over here, all the way to that 18,400 level. We pushed back into it. We rejected from this downward sloping resistance. And the question is, what next? Because we are back underneath that downward sloping channel resistance. This is now resistance. This was once support, it is now resistance. We are back beneath it. So what happens now? Where will Bitcoin go? What will it do? Well, if we're looking purely at structural price movements, we are in between. We have to think about this. We are in between two supports, or support and a resistance. So the risk return right now for entering a short in terms of where we are in regards to horizontal supports and resistances is only slightly favorable. We're like a 1.2 risk return if we go ahead and put the chart up. Not favorable enough for me to enter a short. I wouldn't really be looking to short here. Now, if we had to go and short based on structural patterns, we can go ahead and manipulate our stop loss. For example, putting our stop loss just above this candle open price here, which is 19,355. And then you can go ahead and put your take profit within this range, and instantly the risk return becomes a little bit better. But again, it is a very, very tight trade, so any fluctuation in the volatility could stop you out. Theoretically, this is now resistance, so we're looking at that to act and continue as resistance as the time goes on. We can actually adjust that a little bit more over here to see how perfectly we actually retested and rejected from there. So in the short term, guys, I would be probably more leaning towards a move downwards here based on the structure. Based on the price action, however, it is more neutral. Okay, so short term, there is a greater probability we head down, but if we eliminate the short term and ignore the short term and get rid of these structures on the chart, so if we go ahead and get rid of these structures again, I can actually just go ahead and do this, sorry. We have to understand that the overall macro pattern here, the range we are in, is still a neutral range. This is still a sideways consolidation, meaning that it doesn't really matter what happens too much in the short term if you're looking at the bigger picture. If you're looking at what you can do right now to make money in like 5 hours time or a scalp trade, sure. But if you're caring about that weekly move, if you really care about what happens here, if we go to Bitcoin, where is Bitcoin going to go from here? Well, that is when we go back to that chart and we say, okay, the biggest and the most important things are this range here and this range here. A break above here would be that strong confirmation we head upwards. Now, why is that so important? Because if we do push upwards from there, guys, we have a chance at moving into this range here. And this range is a very important range on a chart because it acted as major resistance over here in August, but more importantly, major resistance, or our first resistance range before we enter that bull market in December 2020. So breaking through our range here allows us to potentially retest this macro descending trend line over here and potentially go into this range. Flipping this range would enter a new macro trend, a new uptrend, potentially winding up to a bull market. So very, very important stuff. And obviously, guys, breaking below this level down over here, 17,600, would send us downwards into this range, this red range, 13 to 12,000. So definitely something to keep an eye on, guys. It is getting a little bit more interesting. Let's go ahead and do some analysis on the larger time frame, though. Something we haven't looked at for a while is actually that falling wedge on the RSI. I wouldn't mind bringing it up again. We haven't looked at it for a couple of weeks or even a couple days. I'm not too sure. It's been a while since we looked at it. I wouldn't mind seeing how it's developing. So let's go ahead and bring it up over here. I'm not too sure. A little bit glitchy over here. It's a bit odd. Give it some time. Let's go ahead and take a look at the DXY while I was loading. So the DXY, guys, we talked about the DXY yesterday. For those of you who already know, the DXY is inverted. It invert in terms of the correlation between DXY performance and Bitcoin performance. It is inverted. When DXY goes up, Bitcoin generally goes down. So we can use DXY to predict upcoming moves. And that's exactly what we did in yesterday's video. We said, okay, 112, 112 is major support. We anticipate that this will provide support, and we see a bounce here. A bounce here will result in Bitcoin getting rejected and heading down. That is exactly what happened. Exactly what happened to the T. So we're looking at the DXY now, and we're going to say, okay, what do we think the DXY is going to do next? And it's very hard to do standard TA on the DXY. As you've seen before, a lot of structures develop, but don't come to, I wouldn't say, they wouldn't come and complete. They don't complete. They develop and they don't complete. They kind of go on tangents. With the DXY, there's a lot of external factors that influence the DXY that we have to think about besides just psychological price action. So it can look good structurally and then go down. It can look bad structurally and then go up. So looking at here, we like to look at horizontal supports or resistances, more about range movement. So what we're looking at next for DXY, we're looking for a move above 13 113.50. So 113.50 for the continuation upward. Now we know this is a resistance because we've seen this act as resistance a few times already. This whole range actually here has been resistance. Until then, there's a possibility that the DXY goes back down. And of course, if the DXY goes down, Bitcoin goes up. And that is exactly why I'm more neutral within this range right now, regardless of what the structure tells us. We already had the breakdown from the rising channel structure. Let's go back to the chart. We already had that breakdown, guys, from that rising, where was the trend line? Somewhere over here. There it is. We already had the breakdown from rising channel structure. So technically the rising channel structure has succeeded, it's completed. The question is, will we get that breakdown again? Will it continue, or are we going to develop a new pattern? So the rising channel structure, although it's still relevant, in my opinion, in my eyes, is less relevant than it was prior to the breakdown. Okay, so taking the information that we've got already, DXY potentially rejecting, Bitcoin in the middle of horizontal resistance and support, Bitcoin just breaking down from a rising channel. We don't have enough information here to be too confident on a short. The only short you would be taking here, like we said at the start of the video, is a potential low risk short, a very tight stop loss, just above this close over here, about 1%, and you're targeting within this range. You can go ahead and manipulate your take profits. You can go ahead and manipulate your entries, your exits along the way if it continues into profit. That is something I'd be looking at personally, but again, not something I'd be putting a lot of money into, just because I don't like the way everything's looking right now in terms of confidence. There's not enough data for me personally to be too confident, particularly in the middle of these levels, in the middle of these ranges. I don't really like to be trading in the middle. I'll look for entries at these trigger points rather than in the middle of these ranges. So let's go back to that chart. Hopefully it's loaded as we can see it over here. Okay, falling wedge time. Let's go ahead and draw a falling wedge in. Okay, so on the weekly, we can see we haven't actually quite hit that upper trend line yet on that weekly chart for the RSI. Hasn't quite reached, it's got very close, but it hasn't quite pushed upwards. So let's take a look at the 3-day, because I'm pretty sure on the 3-day we did actually break out temporarily. Okay, we're gonna have to go ahead and manipulate the RSI a little bit on the 3-day over here. Okay, so here it is. We actually saw a little bit of a breakout on the RSI here on the 3-day. So very, very interesting over here, guys. We did actually see a breakout. We didn't have the sustained momentum. Very, very rare to see the price breaking diagonals as well as the RSI breaking and then it continuing down. It's quite rare to see that momentum shoot upwards and then instantly get rejected, particularly in these structures that we're seeing over here. But nevertheless, it did occur. Now, if we go ahead and zoom up on the RSI, we can go see if we can adjust any momentum or trend lines in over here. As we can see, we do have a smaller time frame, or I'll show a larger time frame, extending from June all the way upwards here, and it's just finding, it looks like, a little bit of support here. So again, there's a lot of data saying, we're in a critical spot right here. We're in this major horizontal date range, which if we go back to the daily, is between, I think it's the 12th to the 21st or 22nd of October. This range is a very crucial range, guys, because like we said already, by the end of this date range, we have most likely made a directional move. And by directional move, I mean we've made a move above this upper level here or this lower level here, which will result in a continuation in the larger time frame price action. It's very, very unlikely we just continue to push sideways for the next week. So something is going to happen in the next week, in my opinion. I believe we are coming to crunch time for a larger move. And I've been telling you guys for weeks now that it is coming. We've seen some pretty big moves. Don't get me wrong. We've seen some big moves. I would constitute this crash here, a 12% move on Bitcoin, as a big move. I would constitute the pump up from here to here, a 10% move in Bitcoin is a big move. These are definitely big moves. But I think in terms of big move, what I'm saying is a significant move of importance. A move of significant importance is coming soon. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to leave it there. We've talked about the short term. I'll give you a little update on the macro. Just make sure, again, you're sticking to the charts, so you're aware of the charts. Don't get ahead of yourself. Make sure you realize the pattern we are in at the moment is neutral. Wait for confirmation, wait for trigger before entering larger time frame positions. Right now, it is massively a game of scalp trading. Basically, all I'm doing is scalp trading. This is scalp trading territory. This is not, okay, I'm going to accumulate, I don't know, XRP or ADA for a long-term hold. That's not what you're doing here. This isn't the time to do that. If it was the time to do it, we would be doing it. If it's not the time to do it, we're not doing it, and that is what we're doing, okay? We'll guys catch you in tomorrow's video. I hope everyone has a great day. Cheers. So we're going to quickly have a discussion about Bitget. Now, if you follow the channel, if you're on our Telegram, if you're on our Twitter, if you like the content, enjoy the videos, and just find what we do informative and beneficial, go ahead and support the channel by clicking the sign up link to Bitget and trade where I trade. Now, there's about 10 different good reasons why I'm suggesting Bitget, and obviously I've made the swap from Binance to Bitget close to a year ago now. Last year in September, I decided to go to Bitget and trade on Bitget, and I'm going to go through the reasons why you should actually come over and trade on Bitget too. So first and foremost, guys, if you like spot trading, obviously 0% trading fees on spot. They've got over 260 coins here. Basically every popular coin you can think of is on Bitget. Basically all the coins on Binance you can find on Bitget. Another really good thing is it is global access, meaning there's no global restriction on who can sign up. Doesn't matter what country you're in, where you're from, you can sign up to Bitget. And the reason they can do that is because they do no KYC. KYCing on this exchange is completely optional. If you want to trade on a decentralized exchange where you don't have to sign up, you don't have to have your government information in there, this is where you want to be, completely decentralized. Another really good thing is they obviously have very low trading fees for futures. It's around 0.02%. Now they have around 60 to 70 different trading pairs on futures and are adding more every couple of weeks, so it is steadily growing. They also have a security fund, so if the exchange ever gets hacked or you get hacked, you can actually request a refund or a compensation from the exchange. They have, I think it's like $80 million, or if not more, $800 million or something close to that in the security fund that actually pay out to their users if anything catastrophic happens. So obviously signing up the link, you'll get access to all of that, but there's a few beneficial and extra things you get access to if you sign up the link down below. You'll get access to the reward center. Now on the reward center is about 5 separate tasks, and they're trading tasks. If you complete those tasks, you can make up to $4,163 just from actually trading. And the second thing is, if you sign up with the partner link down below, you are actually registered underneath my partner account. And what that gives me availability to do is I can actually adjust your fee kickbacks depending on your trading volume. So you actually get paid to trade on Bitget. You'll get kickbacks based on this trading fees you use. For example, on the 3rd of October to the 10th of October, we are doing a running campaign where 10% of the fees you pay on Bitget, you actually receive as compensation as USDT directly to your account. These are some of the things I can do. I can assess your trades, I can monitor your trades if you need advice, I can actually see what is going on, and obviously the fees are very, very small on Bitget. That being said, guys, that is all I want to talk about Bitget. If you want a more in-depth analysis and video about Bitget or how to leverage trade, go to our channel and click the video how to trade on leverage, and we talk you through Bitget and a little bit more. Thanks up, guys. We'll see you later. Okay, guys, I want to take a quick moment to introduce the Become a Trader course at the end of this video. This course was designed by myself and Wolves of Crypto. We put together a whole variety of knowledge to create the most cohesive, understandable, and beneficial trading course there is on the market. If you're interested in learning how to become a trader, if you're interested in learning how to use technical analysis, if you're interested in learning how to apply market analysis to different cryptocurrencies, this is a course for you. We teach you everything from the fundamentals, the basics about what cryptocurrency is, how to trade cryptocurrency, mastering the craft of cryptocurrency, diving into a whole range of technical indicators, market structures, and teaching you how to utilize these when finding trades and applying risk management strategies to become more profitable over time. We even dive into market psychology, human psychology, and provide a variety of different videos and educational content, including courses and quizzes to assist your learning along the way. If this is something you're interested in, guys, go ahead and contact us down below at the cryptoacademycourses@gmail.com. We'll send you an email back with all the course information, the structure, the payment details, and everything else you need to know. That being said, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today, and we'll catch you in the next one.